Hey, welcome back. Getting ready to send this shooter out, and I thought I'd make a video on how I put the bands in the slot again for the new owner of this one. And they're in right now, and you'll notice the way I'll fold them in a second will make sense, because it kind of leaves them perked up like that so they're easier to get a hold of and get your shot on the way. You take them out, you stretch them, and pull them up. How this works is I fold the bottom of the band over the top. Let me move the camera down here. I put the fork between my knees. It's the easiest way to hold on to it. And I fold the top third to the center, and then I take the bottom third and fold it over the top. And you stretch it and push it down in the slot. Now I started on the target side of the shooter, so to keep me from getting confused, I just bring the pouch back here where you're going to be using it when you're shooting it. I bring it around to the other fork, do the same thing. I fold the top third down to the center, and then I bring that bottom part over it, even with the top. I stretch, push it down in the slot, and let it go. Now, if you're a little uneven, and that one's pretty close. This one might be just a fudge longer. You can pull them back through this way or either way a little bit, as long as you don't run it out and undo your fold, and you can move them. But they're a lot harder to move once you get them in place, because they bind back on themselves on either side, and they hold pretty good. Or you can grab a hold of one of them and choke up on it and really crank down on it and start walking it out of there, but I think with normal shooting that would be unlikely unless you're using awful thin bands. That's something you'd have to keep an eyeball on. Usually my slots will accommodate at a 0.5 up to around a 0.7 or so. They start getting pretty tight then, because when you fold that over, you've increased the thickness of your band by 3, because that'll make it 3 times as thick as it is to start with. And there's the thickness of the band, and you can see that the slots are not they're the thickness of my bandsaw blade, and it comes up about 0.3. So I'd say by the time it takes the material out, you're looking at a 0.5 millimeter or a little more there. But down to a 0.4 is probably pushing it. You can fold them back over twice on themselves and make them work, but these are 0.5s. And I also, on these, I put the tag in on the inside of the pouch, or the TTF, and the way you fold the bands and put them in the slot, it has them both rolling in the same direction. So when you pull back to aim, those outer 2/3 roll up. Try to get straight here if I can. You can see how narrow that makes the bands, and I put my target in the center of that little section of band that you have left by the time it rolls up, and that works out pretty good for me. You know, most TTFs are, you know, they're a wider section of band like this, and a lot of times there's an aim and dent, or people take a marker that'll show up on their bands and draw them a straight line. But with this, I don't bother with that. I just put a target in the center of that section right there, and let her go. And the way I fold the bands, bottom over top, it kind of makes them perky, sort of like a dog's ears when he's alerted by something. So that's the reason I fold them the way I do. You can fold them the other way, but I think this kind of leaves them up there where they're kind of already heading in the direction you want them to before you start trying to line your shot up. But anyway, that's how I do it. I appreciate you all stopping by. Everybody stay safe out there. I'll catch you next time.